What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be diving on into my most favorite roguelike of all time. This is a title that's called Tales of Maj'eyal, and I actually truly believe that Tales of Maj'eyal is something incredibly special in the world of gaming, and unfortunately, nobody really toots its horn because the game graphically is not really anything to write home about. However, I think that if you take your gamer fingernail and you start scratching away at the surface here, you're going to find that Tales of Maj'eyal provides players with what is effectively an infinite amount of RPG gameplay if you can just get over the hump of how it all looks. So, join me. Today I'm going to be playing Tales of Maj'eyal for about 30 minutes. I'm going to see if it's something that you're excited about, something that gets you stoked, because I think this game is really rad, and there's a number of reasons for that, and I'll try to put that together at the end of the video so that you can figure it on out. So what am I doing right now inside the confines of the game? Well, a couple days ago, I got back into Tales of Maj'eyal, probably as a result of playing around with Caves of Qud. And so I've been off on a major roguelite bent, and as per usual, I fell back on my old classic, which is Tales of Maj'eyal, a game that I personally think is probably one of the best roguelikes ever made. And why do I think it's one of the best RPGs ever made? Well, I think that Tales of Maj'eyal is one of the very few games in all of gaming to really figure out how itemization works. So this is one of the few games where itemization and growing your character are incredibly fun. Now, when you spawn on into Tales of Maj'eyal, this is just one talent tree for one character. There are this many things to select, and also you can learn things from outside your class from various quests that are around that give you a tremendous level of customization, but every single archetype from rogue to mage to warrior, they have different talent trees, and they all play differently. Make no mistake, it can take you like a month or so of playing only one class to truly learn how to play that class effectively, how to build that class effectively, what items to be on the lookout for. In today's video, we are playing a Berserker, because I tend to stick to kind of like the melee classes in this game, since that's what I've been playing since high school. That's how long this game has been in development, in case you were wondering. This game has been out for a very, very, very long time and still consistently gets DLCs. It still gets new content added to it, endgame things. I've never seen any of those endgame things because I'm a massive scrub. There's like an ethereal enemy right there. I always die before I get there because it's a roguelike, and that's what happens. You die in a roguelike. But I'm making a pretty good push this time on this character. I think I've got a strong build going with my Berserker. And one of the reasons why I think it's so strong is just the itemization that I think the game affords you. Do you wish to disturb the grave? That feels like a terrible idea. No, I don't think I wish to. I mean, I guess I can. Is there anything inside of it? No? What about this chest? Anything good inside of here? Looks like we got a torque of some kind. It looks like it's a focusing steel torque of Mind Blast, which I actually feel like is probably better than the one that I have, because I have a Mind Blast torque, because this game has cool itemization, as I've mentioned. Every single item in this game is procedural. There are also legendary items that have a name and are the same every single time that you see them. But one of the reasons why this game is so satisfying to play is that their itemization is dialed in. So like when you get an item, they come with the associated things that you would expect, like strength or constitution or dexterity, stats, increased crit, things of that nature. But what this game does really well is also that the items that you pick up, they tend to give you like consumable abilities you can play around with. They tend to give you big chunks of resistance. They tend to have other effects, like for example, my axe over here. Every time I hit an enemy, it does an extra 30 damage, 15 lightning, 15 cold. I had another weapon prior to this that did something similar, but also it gave me a magical ability that would summon a wave of water all around me that would knock enemies back. I had another weapon that summoned like a tornado that would whip the enemies around every now and again, and a huge amount of the procedural items and also the designated items in this game have those mechanics on them, which makes them really, really satisfying to use. It's fun to find an item in this game and try to think about the way that you could possibly like build around that item and make it even better. And I do think that there's something intriguing about a game where the items are so rad that you can do like entire builds around them. So right now you can see that my armor, it's conjuring like a lake of ice around me every single time I take a step. You know, that's cool stuff right there. Like, people want to see things like that when they itemize their character. Now, I do have a number of abilities. You can see them listed down below. So bottom left right here, you can see that I have like a charge. I've got a double swing right there that stuns enemies. I've got a big burp that confuses everything. That I give them that chili breath right there, and it confuses them all and makes them like walk around and not exactly know what's going on, as tends to happen when somebody burps in your face. I've got my little mind blast right here that I can play around with that does like 200 damage and silences an enemy. I've got all kinds of fun toys to play around with. This game also lets you tattoo your body on top of the equipment that you have inside of this menu right here. You also have tattoos. They're called infusions, but basically they're magical tattoos, and those magical tattoos will give you abilities that your class would not normally be able to use, and so you can get like these cool little infusions that'll heal you, or get rid of enemy debuffs that they've put on you, or let you break out of a stun, or like shoot a fireball, or, you know, do something like that, which means that on any given playthrough, I don't really mind when I die, because every single time I build up a character, they might be the same class or they might be the same archetype, but based on the itemization that happens along the way and the things that you pick up from various environments, two characters can play wildly differently in this game. So for example, this character got a lot of bonuses to regeneration. As you can see on my health bar up here, I regenerate 26 health per turn, which is quite a lot for this phase of the game. And so my character this time around highly relies on just regenerating through it. That's it. I take a hit and I regenerate through it and I hope for the best. Whereas I've had other characters that had to play very carefully and very contemplatively with their abilities because they could easily get themselves into trouble. I don't think I'm supposed to be killing these little guys right here. Yeah, they're mind control, dude. I've been slaughtering civilians this entire time. I'm a bad person. Now I feel bad about myself. I probably should have taken the quest that was right. Is this guy? Where is your master at? I don't want to kill you, but like, where's the guy that mind controlled you at? This game does have, Gan the Enthralled Slave. So this is one of the rare spawns right here. You can tell a rare spawn because they have purple around their health bar, and also they'll have a name. These are guys that are going to drop named procedural items. They don't normally drop uniques like the set in steel items, but this guy should drop something good. Let's go ahead and burp. Did that guy put a flame turret on the ground? Oh my god. Okay, yep, things are happening right here. That's definitely a flame turret. Let me go ahead and silence this guy real quick. There we go. We'll silence, because it feels like he's got some little tricks he wants to play around with, and I'm just not here for it right now. So now that we've killed him, we got, looks like hardened leather gloves named Ivacen. What does Ivacen do? It looks like Ivacen here will give us arcane light resistance. It will increase our accuracy versus hitting enemies. It increases our physical saves, our mental saves. It gives us a 20% blindness immunity. It looks like it gives us 27% disarm immunity. And it looks like it gives us 5% more healing from any source. Not a terrible little set of gloves, if I'm being honest. It looks like we're going to gain accuracy here. Oh, but I'm losing life regen. Yeah, I'm going to leave these in because life regen as a strategy seems to really be working out for me. Anytime you see me teleport all over the place like I just did, that's the game auto-exploring. So like any good roguelike, you can press the Z key and it will auto-explore the level. That's what that kind of like thing it just did is. It lets you auto-explore, and when it sees an enemy, or it sees an interesting piece of loot, or it sees like a stairway that goes down to the next level, the game will stop your character in place, and then you have like a second to sort of appraise and figure out what you want to do inside of that area. I think another thing, if you're seeing this menu right here, another thing that this game does exceptionally well compared to most other games is that Tales of Maj'eyal started out as specifically a roguelike, but over the years, it has picked up roguelite elements. What that means is that as you play the game more and as you get certain achievements, you will start out with certain items that don't make you OP, but they streamline features of the game that were interesting maybe on like your first 5 runs. Something, for example, like sorting through your loot is really fun to do. Oh, we just got chunked. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Let's go ahead and stun him real quick. There we go. Anyways, something like sorting through your loot is very interesting on like your first 2 or 3 playthroughs of a roguelike. having your items identified, getting the excitement of opening up your presents. That's fun for a little bit. It gives you a dopamine hit for a little bit, but what this game rightly does is it recognizes that that's a limited source of dopamine on the part of the player. So what'll happen is when you play this game for a little while, by the time you get to your third or fourth run, you've unlocked the scrying orb, which is right here. And every character that you play with from then on will have the scrying orb. What does the scrying orb do? It automatically identifies everything that you find, and you get it early enough that like the first couple runs, you get the fun of identifying items and being like, ooh, what is this? It's got a colorful name. And then by the time you get bored of that and it becomes tedious, you have unlocked the scrying orb. So now you automatically inspect everything that comes into your inventory. And then from there, it used to be fun to go like into the dungeon and get a bunch of loot and take that loot back to town and sell it and make a bunch of money. But that got boring after a little while too. So what does the game have? It has the transmogrification chest right here, which you'll unlock after probably like 5 or 6 runs. The transmogrification chest, what it does is every single item that you loot goes into the chest. And then when you get to the end of the level, or the end of the floor, when you transition into a new stage, it will open up the chest. It will be like, which of these items do you want to keep? You go through them real fast based on their color quality. You put them in your inventory, you equip them on your character, and everything that you don't put on your character gets automatically turned into the amount of gold that you would have got from a vendor in town. The game is filled with little quality of life things like this, incredibly astute observations that happen just in the nick of time. Just as you're getting bored of a mechanic, you will, without fail, unlock something that negates that mechanic and just turns it into like a very rapid thing that you do automatically. And I think that kind of foresight is one of those things that is maybe not applauded enough in gaming. Like, quality of life is one of those things that I find frequently gets thrown out or implemented later on in the development cycle, rather than being in the front of the game. But with Tales of Maj'eyal, they always seem to be a couple steps ahead of the curve when it comes to identifying which mechanics of their game are like fun at first, but become tedious after a few runs or after a few deaths. Oh, nice, dude, I freed 30 enthralled slaves. Huzzah, I am now the man. Do we have the stairs to the next floor? We do. I don't know what boss we're going to face down here, but I'm a little bit worried about it. Their character level's up to like 50, so this is a character that's kind of like on the edge of the mid-game. I've been playing for about a week now, and the learning curve getting back into Tales of Maj'eyal after a couple years of not playing, it's been a lot of heartbreak. Heartache by the number, trouble by the score. Who are you? Before you stands a small humanoid creature with a disproportionate head. What have we here? Human, I believe that you have turned the wrong corner. So it would seem, what's going on here? This is my ring of blood. Yeah, every well-adjusted creature in a fantasy universe has a ring of blood. Like, that's one of the first things you buy when you start making 7 figures in gold a year. Since you do not look like slave fodder, I will offer to let you pay to play the game. If you feel you cannot take part in a slaver's game, I fear you will need to disappear. So basically it's like a battle arena and I fight a bunch of like his mentally enthralled slaves. I think we'll just fight here, man. Oh, is that a reflective shield? What is that right there? I don't know what that is. What did he put on himself? He's got a damage shield. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that shield is gonna reflect everything back at us. Ow. Stop it. I'm gonna give myself some regen until his shield falls off, I think. I can't tell if he's got like I'm hurting him. Okay. He's taking damage, which is the part that worried me. We need to stay on him. Cool. That was actually a pretty easy boss clear. That wasn't too bad. I probably should have. Oh, he didn't even drop any. Usually those guys drop uniques. Well, that's a bummer. Usually when you get to the boss at the end of a dungeon, you get a slave control orb. Can I break it? Well, it looks like we've done everything that we can do here. These guys are all free, so I guess they're just spectating. You guys are watching this? Slaves just murdering each other? Y'all are terrible people. Y'all need to look deep down inside yourself and do some analysis. When you level up in this game, you get stat points. Different classes will capitalize on different stats. I find that the stats and the builds in this game are tremendously unique, very satisfying. I have very few complaints about them. Some things that are useful for one class might not be useful for another class. But by and large, I've had a really good time building my characters on my return journey. back to Tales of Maj'eyal. We've got 3 stat points to play around with. I'll probably just dump those in HP because I don't like dying. And so if I don't know where to put my points, I always just put them in HP. We've got class points over here. You've got different categories that different classes have access to. However, based on certain random quests that will come up, you can learn things that are outside your normal wheelhouse that will allow you to specialize in weird, strange directions. So it's not prudent for you to have, like, you know, a berserker that has psychic powers. But if you get lucky, it might happen. You might be a berserker that can fire mind bullets for whatever reason, just randomly through the course of human events. We also get category points. Those allow you to buy new categories that you can get little skill traits in. And then you get generic points, which are things for like armor proficiency and weapon proficiency. Unflinching resolve is the one that I'm working on right now because it's goated. But for now, I think I'll probably put some points into Bloodbath, maybe. I don't know. I'm really on the fence about Mortal Terror because on one hand, I get a lot of crit out of it, but on the other hand, I don't know if the daze is inherently that useful of an effect that I want to spend some of my limited class points on it. The good news is I think in town you can pull points out if you want to and move things around, so there's no problem with us just kind of testing it out for a little bit. You can teleport out of any dungeon. The first item you get off the first boss on every single run is a teleport rod. It allows you to teleport back to the surface. An Inquisitor's Battle Axe, It's worse than what... I have a really, really unfortunately named Battle Axe. I didn't name it that. It's just a unique item in this game. It has an unfortunate name that maybe implies that I might be the bad guy. That's a level 43 dungeon right there. That one's level 10, max level 30. I mean, I guess we could go give it a look. The map in this game is static. It's the same every single time. At least the world map is. The upshot here is that the dungeons are procedural once you get on into them, and based on what race you choose, you may start out in different areas, and so you'll see new dungeons with different rare loot and stuff like that each time you play. If you're swapping races between like dwarf to human to elf to halfling, so on and so forth, you will see new dungeons, although they tend to all kind of use like similar tile sets. This Goro guy over here, a Zorn. Okay, well, he's now a dead Zorn, so got some slimes in here. We got some kind of big critter over there. I'll probably, confuse you guys for a second and fall back into the hallway, maybe. I was going to say, I'd rather fight you guys in a hallway if I can. There's a few too many of you for how dangerous this room might end up being. We'll go ahead and just fight them right here. That old roguelike secret, fight them in a hallway. That's the secret. There are quests in this game. The quests are meaningful with meaningful rewards. This is not the kind of game where you're going to do a quest and the game is going to be like, here you go, nerd, procedurally generated sword with 1 affix, get wrecked. No, this is a game where when you complete a quest, you get stat points. You get +5 permanently to your crit. Like, your character's growth in this game and the quests that you choose to undertake are a big part of the experience. It looks like he summoned a bunch of bugs on me. Dude, what are you, a vampire? I was going to say, he summoned a big flock of bugs on me that really messed me up right there for a second. Luckily, I was able to regen through it because, as I said, my character is basically Wolverine. That's the idea that I was going for when I made this character. Is I was like, well, what if I maxed out everything that has to do with regeneration and everything that has to do with constitution and like everything that had to do with resistance, and I just become like a character that can't be killed. Like, I may not be able to hurt you, but you definitely can't hurt me. And so far, it's been working out really well. Who would have known that building for sustain inside of a roguelike video game would be considered a good idea? I would have never thought of that in all the hours of playing hardcore Diablo and all the hours, Bathira the Guardian. Okay, let's confuse them so that we can approach because they're firing ranged weapons at us. We have taken a little bit of a scuffing there. However, I have a special ability called Vitality that when my health goes down below 50%, it looks at my constitution and look at my regen. 168 health per turn for 8 turns straight. That's my oh shit button. When things are going really, really, really wrong, Vitality will fix it. That's what I've learned. The downside here is that I kind of have like 8 turns to kill the enemy, and it does not appear to be going very well. So, like, I'm trying to land hits on this guy, but I got my fat fingering right now. I was hitting my 2 key to hit this guy with Stunning Blow, and I was like, but why is my Stunning Blow not doing the Stunnination? Because my finger was hitting the 1 key, and you can't rush from point blank. This guy may actually get us. This guy is kind of a problem. Well, I mean, I got him. I'm just gonna fall back for a minute and just kind of, you know, get my health back. I would like to not feel as bad as I feel right now. That guy's gonna close the gap. We'll finish him off and we'll get ourselves a little level up. It looks like we got a... Is that a 2-hander? It's a Great Maul named Serena. What does the Great Maul do? Sirena requires 24 strength. It looks like Sirena increases our psi. It looks like when I hit the enemy, it burns 20 arcane resources off of them. And when I hit the enemy, there's a 20% chance for it to stun, blind, pin, confuse, or silence the target. We also get 16 mind damage every time that we hit them. It's a pretty solid item, in all honesty. It does a lot more damage than what we currently have, except that when you factor in, we're losing a ton of armor penetration, we're losing a ton of crit chance, we are losing about 15 damage, but we're gaining 15 natural, so it kind of evens out on the damage front. I guess it kind of depends. Since this item right here seems to increase your psi, it's not going to be an item for us. This is going to be an item for a character that uses psionics, though. The yellow items that you're seeing here are named items. Those are the same every single time you play the game. They're effectively the equivalent of uniques from Diablo, and they are quite good. There are very few uniques in this game that I've seen that I thought to myself, like, that is a useless piece of garbage. All of them at least have something in my head that I could theory craft that you use them for. And this is a game right here that if you're creating an action RPG... Oh, Jesus. Okay, I don't want to be in this hallway anymore. Yeah, that hallway's bad stuff. Go ahead and confuse them, I guess. Step on into it and see if we can kill some of these Drakelings over here. But getting shotgunned in that hallway with fireballs was not the play. But this is a game that I highly recommend. Any developer that sees this video, I am begging you, go and play Tales of Maj'eyal and just really pay attention to all the cool ways that they've itemized this game and that they've made looting interesting and that they've made looting fun and that they've made unique items that have a meaningful balance change on the way that you build your character, and they make you think about, like, ooh, what could I use this for? Ooh, what could I use this for? That would make a nice utility. Oh, I can silence my enemy every 10 turns now? As a warrior, I can see the appeal of that. I don't know if I can actually hurt this guy. I can hurt this guy. It just seems like he's got incredibly high dodge. Oh, thank you for walking backwards to allow me to hit you again. I will hit you with a confuse right there to maybe increase the chance that I can smack you. And in fact, the ensmackinating did go better right there. Let's go ahead and Mind Blast him again. Perfect. Mind Blasted him, and it looks like we got a Dwarven Steel Mace named Megarin. Not for me. That's a one-handed mace. We're a two-handed character. But might be cool for somebody else. It looks like it has a 25% chance for lightning to strike from the target and bounce to a second target for 15 damage every time you swing it. It gives you +3 to your magic stat or magic attribute. It looks like whenever your spells crit, you get some mana back. See, this is what I mean. Like, this item is really cool right here. Like, on one hand, it's a physical item for beating a guy to death, but all the stats on it are for, like, a mage. And so this would make a really interesting item for a Spellblade. Just as kind of an observation. This game does have loads of classes. It's got everything from artificers to gunmen to summoners to spellblades. I mean, if you can think about a class or a hybrid of that class, from druids to warriors to whatever, this game has it. You may have to unlock some of them. That's the only thing that I would warn you about, is that not all the classes come unlocked, and also not all the classes are available for every single campaign. Like, some of them I think you can only play on some of the expansion campaigns and whatnot. And since, like, I'm a long-term scrub at this game. The ultimate Gwelgaroth? I didn't even notice that he was dope. Well, I just beat a tornado to death with a stick, so... Who is lightninging me right now? Can somebody, like, stop doing that? I would really appreciate it. Oop. Sometimes you can see enemy bullets when they're firing them around, and I really like... There's been a couple dungeons that I've done that are almost like turn-based bullet hells, where you've really, really got to carefully decide where you want to step on each turn, and, like, what you want to do, and, like, when you want to attack and dedicate to hitting somebody. Very, very cool stuff. This is just one of those games... So I've been playing Tales of Maj'eyal for a really, really long time, since, like, before it was Tales of Maj'eyal. This used to be a Lord of the Rings game a long time ago, but then, you know, Tolkien House got mad about that. What is this guy? Pelutha the Guardian. It's a problem. Ugh. And so I've been playing this game for a really, really long time, and I've been singing its praises for a really, really long time, and seeing as... Ow! Was that my own damage that just happened right there? Ooh, that's a lot of acid damage, Brody. That's like a lot of acid damage. We may leave him alone. He hit me really hard. Like, he hit me for like 168. In Tales of Maj'eyal, sometimes it's okay to walk away. You don't have to kill everything in a dungeon. That's not required in order to advance in this game. If you roll up on an enemy, and I don't have very good acid resistance, and I get chunked for a third of my health in one hit, and I can maybe evac from that situation, oh, this is not good. Your boy is trapped. I'm gonna pull back for a minute. There we go. We've got a named bear over here. Zerabrera Mira. That's a hell of a name. Zerabrera Mira, I don't know what you do, but have fun being silenced, confused, and then dazed and off-balanced. Zerabrera Mira appears to be really good at taking damage. Appears to be kind of like Zerabrera Mira's shtick. You can see their HP in this little pop-up bar right here. It says HP 208, 25%. Normally you could see the meter, but they're behind a wall, so you're going to have to use a different utility. Let's continue blasting. Keep them confused. You hear a magical... Oh, I may have to kill that other boss in order to get deeper down into this dungeon. I forgot that we're lighting off magical switches right now. I may have to deal with that guy. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. He's tough and he hits hard, and he's got a shield. This is not where I want to be either. We got some kind of like, I don't know, orthodontry monsters over here. Oni Lung. Well, Oni Lung is now dead. But Tales of Maj'eyal. I cannot sing its praises highly enough. This is basically an infinitely replayable game that does not really run out of content. You can basically play it forever. The only trade-off here is that the game does not have the best graphics. That's about it. But if you're looking for a game that scratches that Diablo 2 itch and basically has like 20 years worth of development under its belt and like 20 years worth of items under its belt and expansions and things of that nature, I think you'll have a really good time with Tales of Maj'eyal, and it only felt fair that I do another video on the game, because recently when I was playing Cud, I was talking about how Caves of Cud and Tales of Maj'eyal are the two roguelikes that I always fall back to every time I play the game, every time I get back into roguelikes as kind of like a format. And so, here we are. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were fooling around with Tales of Maj'eyal. I hope you guys really, really enjoyed it. I enjoy showing you guys this game every time it comes up. I know that I'm not the most advanced player, and that it's probably sad how little progress I've made in like a decade and a half of playing this game, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop trying to introduce other people to the majesty that is this title. Hopefully you guys liked it. I will catch you all later. Thank you for stopping on in, and that's about all I've got. Tales of Maj'eyal is amazing, and if you choose not to play it, and you're a fan of action RPGs, I think you're making a mistake. I will see you all later. Bye, folks.